The Mist of Pandaria remix offers a limited time bonus to reputation gain, so in this video we'll cover every reputation we can get in Pandaria and the best way to go about them. As a friendly disclaimer, remember that we won't be able to purchase the mounts from the vendors upon reaching Exalted until the remix is over, it seems, with the exception of the Emperor Shaohao mount at the Court of Celestials, but hey, at least we'll be exalted and prepared once the time comes. We're gonna kick things off with the fastest reputation we can get with mob grinding, and this one is going to be the Golden Lotus, since the bulk of the rep grind is going to be doing the dailies over at the Setting Sun Garrison in Vale of Eternal Blossoms. The dailies are quite simple, and I'd recommend speedrunning through them and saving the lesser charms that you can get from them, since we can complete the remaining amount to Exalted by farming the mobs in the area. Yes, the stone dogs have been nerfed, but they still give out reputation. An alternative location I'd recommend is going to be the mobs over at Ruins of Gulao, since one of the dailies is also in that area. The mobs around the area can give you anywhere between 40 all the way up to 400, and on top of that we will be getting the ancient Gulao cache keys, which we can use inside the Gulao halls in the sort of vault area, and inside the sort of maze room there are going to be the Gulai caches, which has a chance to give us these relics that will also give us reputation with the Golden Lotus. Mind you, we will have to be level 40 to unlock this feature in the Gulai halls. When you're done with the dailies, or as an alternative altogether, you could also hunt rares in the Vale of Eternal Blossom, since each one will give you 1,600 reputation with the Golden Lotus, and there's no loot lockout. All in all, the whole process can take you less than 20 to 30 minutes to get Exalted with the Golden Lotus, if you include the rare hunting and mob grinding, of course, since the dailies alone won't get you all the way. Upon getting to Exalted, we'll be able to purchase 3 mounts. These are the Azure Riding Crane, the Regal Riding Crane, and the Golden Riding Crane. Mind you, the Quartermaster of the Golden Lotus, Ja Lu the Generous, isn't there for now during remix, so we'll have to shelf purchasing the mounts once the remix is over. Now, I'm going to go over the 3 reputations that we can get to Exalted just by doing the respective quest lines, and I'll go over how to start the quest line for each one. So for the faction specific ones, which is the Operation Shieldwall for Alliance and Dominance Offensive for Horde, we'll first have to be level 20 before we can get the quest called Meet the Scout. We'll head over to the Vale of Eternal Blossoms over at our faction's hub areas, and for Horde it'll be by the Tauren Paladin Disco, by the Shrine of Two Moons in front of the road here on the map, and for Alliance it'll be by the Mounted Night Elf in front of the Shrine of 7 Stars called Scout Lealia, shown here. Both of them will send us to Krasarang Wilds, to either Domination Point or Lion's Landing respectively, and from there we'll continue to do their quests, and before you know it, we'll be Exalted. Upon reaching Exalted, we'll be able to purchase the reputation mounts, which are the Grand Armored Griffin and the Grand Armored Wyvern for 1,800 gold each. We only need to buy one of these mounts for one faction, since purchasing the Grand Armored Griffin, for example, will also get us the Grand Armored Wyvern. It's worth noting that if we do finish the Landfall campaign in its entirety, that will reward us an unarmored version of the mounts, and these are going to be the Grand Griffin for the Alliance and the Grand Wyvern for the Horde. And just like the armored versions, getting the Alliance mount, for example, will get us the Horde equivalent, so no worries on having to redo the grind for Exalted or finishing the campaign again for the other side. The next reputation we can get to Exalted from doing quest lines is going to be the Klaxxi. First, we'll have to be level 35, then we'll want to head over to Serpent's Spine, which is this huge wall dividing the Vale of Eternal Blossoms and the Dread Waste, and on this wall there's an NPC named Bow Mistress Lee who will give out 2 quests, and from there we'll just follow the storyline, and about halfway through the Paragon storyline we should be Exalted by then. Once the remix is over, we'll be able to purchase the mount from Ambersmith Zik over at Klaxxi for 10,000 gold. The third reputation that we'll get to Exalted just by doing the storyline is going to be the Shado-Pan. We'll be able to start their quest line once we reach level 25, and then we'll head over to Town Long Steps to start the quest line over at Taranju here at Longying Outpost. From here, we'll continue the storyline, which is relatively easy but quite fun. Once we're Exalted, we'll be able to purchase the Shado-Pan Riding Tigers, and we'll get access to a quest called Surprise Attack, and this one we can pick up from Master Snowdrift at the Shado-Pan Garrison. Once we complete it, we'll be awarded with the Onyx Cloud Serpent, a 2-for-1 mount to reputation ratio. Moving on, we'll go over the reputations that are grinded strictly by dailies, and the first one is going to be the August Celestials. The main way we can grind for this reputation is doing the dailies over at one of the 4 temples throughout Pandaria, but to unlock them, we'll first need to do the quest over at the Temple of the White Tiger called Celestial Experience, unlocked when we're level 20. Then that goes into a Witness to History quest, which is the follow-up, and then the August Celestial Lotus Quartermaster, which is below our faction's hub in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, will give us the quest. For the Alliance, the NPC's name is Sage Whiteheart, and for Horde, it'll be Sage Lotus Blue. They'll give us the quest line to unlock the dailies for the August Celestials. Now, it's important to note that the dailies for the August Celestials rotate throughout 4 zones of Pandaria for each temple every day. For Shuen, it'll be in the Temple of the White Tiger in Kunlai Summit. For Chiji, it'll be in the Temple of the Red Crane in Krasarang Wilds. For Nizhao, it'll be in the Nizhao Temple over at Townlong Steppes. And for Yulon, it'll be in the Temple of the Jade Serpent by the Jade Forest. I'd recommend saving up your lesser charms of good fortune to dump into this unless you're okay with using this as a way to farm the charms, or you're okay with doing this strictly as dailies. As an additional note, if you do happen to cross any Zandalari Warbringers, they will have a chance to drop these insignias, and upon using the insignias, we will get 1,000 reputation depending on which faction they're representing. Sometimes it could be the Klaxxi, the August Celestials, could be the Shado-Pan, or even the Golden Lotus. The next reputation we'll cover is the Order of the Cloud Serpents. First, we'll have to unlock the hub itself by going to the Arboretum in the Jade Forest and pick up the quest called Wild Things. Here we'll follow a short quest line, and by the end of it, we'll have to choose a serpent to raise. Now, it doesn't really matter what color we pick, since by the end we can purchase the other 2 that we didn't pick from the first of 3. Now, it's also worth noting that we can pick up these onyx eggs around the area, and turning each one will give us 500 reputation. We'll just have to fly around the Windward Isle and look at every nook and cranny to find these eggs, and they're usually on these mountain peaks or mountain tops. Alternatively, we can get the Quivering Firestorm eggs from Crimson Scale Firestorm mobs over at the Timeless Isle, which are bind on account items and grant 1,000 reputation per turn-in. So if you'd like to speed up the process to get exalted with the Order of the Cloud Serpents, I would recommend adding the egg hunting routine in this endeavor. Once we're exalted, we'll be able to get the serpent that we raised to maturity as a mount, and we'll be able to buy the other 2 colors that we didn't get to pick. The 3 options in general are the Jade Cloud Serpent, the Azure Cloud Serpent, and the Golden Cloud Serpent, each sold for 1,500 gold from San Red Scale in the Arboretum. The next daily induced reputation will be the Isle of Thunder factions, Kirin Tor Offensive for Alliance, and Sunreaver Onslaught for Horde. Once we level up to 50, we can pick up a quest called the Storm Gatherers over here in Townlong Steppes by the Shado-Pan Garrison. We'll finish the questline all the way up to unlocking our faction's hub in the Isle of Thunder, and then we'll have access to dailies, which gives us around 350 reputation per turn-in. And we have a chance to get a Shanze Ritual Stone and even get a key to the Palace of Li Shen, and both give us a chance at looting some insignias for other reputations in Pandaria. Also in the Isle of Thunder is going to be the Shado-Pan Assault. We'll mainly be getting reputation by killing the Throne of Thunder raid bosses. Killing each boss in the Throne of Thunder raid will give us 1,000 reputation each, including Ra-Den, and this will apply for LFR, normal, and heroic versions. But then we'll be locked out for the week. So if we do a raid on normal, for example, and then the next day we do heroic, we won't be getting any more reputations for the Shado-Pan Assault for that week on that character. And additionally, inside the Throes of the Thunder King solo scenario, we have a chance to pick up Shado-Pan Assault insignias that give 100 reputation each. And they're usually found from chests inside of the solo scenario or from the bounty rewards we receive from doing our Kirin Tor Offensive or Sunreaver Onslaught weekly quests back at our hubs, which are the Arcane Trove and the Sunreaver Bounty respectively. Lastly, we will have weekly quests available to us from Tyranju in the cave just outside of the Throne of Thunder on this map I'm showing right now, and the quests are called Champions of the Thunder King, Secrets in the Isle of Thunder, and Setting the Trap. They'll be once a week quests, and each of them will give about 350 reputation with the Shado-Pan Assault. Here's a link to the video that covered this recently. The next reputation we'll cover will be the Emperor Shaohao, I think that's how it's pronounced, will be the Emperor Shaohao, which is going to be strictly a mob farm reputation grind. In the Mists of Pandaria remix, we'll unlock the quest that gets us to the Timeless Isle around level 45, picked up by Chromie located here at the Mogoshan Palace outside Lorewalker Cho's room. After several introductory quests, by the time we pick up the last Emperor quest from the Emperor Shaohao himself, it'll be strictly grinding mobs, and the mobs that give you reputation are going to be the Yongo mobs and the fire elementals right here at the Blazing Way and in the Ordon Sanctuary. As the only reputation vendor present in the Mists of Pandaria remix content, we can work our way up to farming for the mounts once we are exalted. The mount itself is going to be the Heavenly Golden Cloud Serpent, purchased for 100,000 Timeless Isle coins. So yeah, it'll take quite a while to both get to exalted on this faction and grind the currency, and then we can get the mount over at Mistweaver Coup by the Court of Celestials in Timeless Isle. The next reputation we'll talk about is going to be the Lorewalkers. The process of flying throughout Pandaria collecting every single scroll can be time consuming, but while doing so you will be collecting bronze and occasionally spools by flying through these orbs in the air, so I see this as a plus. The minimum amount of time expected to get exalted with collecting all of the Lorewalker scrolls will be an hour and a half, since we'll be getting about 1,920 reputation per achievement set we get for collecting, and turning in those scrolls will give us around 2,850 each. In my experience, this took me about an hour since we do have dragon flying now in Pandaria. By the time we collect all the scrolls as well as turn in about 4 or 5 of them, we will reach exalted reputation. Once the remix is over, we're gonna be able to purchase the disc of the red flying cloud from Tan Shin Chao right in front of Lorewalker Cho on the second floor of the Mogushan Palace. Now on to the last reputation for this guide video. It's going to be about the anglers. So the anglers will have dailies, each giving us about 500 reputation on top of granting us a +1 to our fishing skill. We can turn in lesser charms, but they will give us 250 reputation each instead. Now if you can't seem to start your dailies over at Nat Pagle here at the Anglers Wharf, if you have a fresh time running character, make sure you learn the fishing skill first in order to actually unlock the dailies here. Additionally, in case you didn't know, while doing the Paragon quest for the Klaxxi, you'd have unlocked a series of non-daily quests, since each one is gonna grant about 2,000 reputation to the anglers when fully completed. To unlock it, we'll have to do some questing with the Klaxxi, and when we finish this quest called the Root of the Problem while doing the Klaxxi storyline where we kill this Sha-infused crocodile on the ground, we'll be able to start the mini-series for the anglers picked up from Amber Smith Zik located in Klaxxi Vest. The quest is called Gambling Problem, and they'll send us over to the Soggy's Gamble, which is down south to start the series. Lastly, we can turn in these daily fishes for about 350 reputation with the anglers and 600 reputation with Nat Pagle. And these daily fishes are the Spinefish Alpha, the Mimic Octopus, and the Flying Tiger Gourami. Now you can pick up more than one of these fishes at a time, but we can only turn in one of these fishes in a day over to Nat Pagle. So that's why I call it daily fishes, since they can only be turned in once a day. As for the spots where to catch these fishes, the Spinefish Alpha will be fished up in Inkilmir here in Kunlai Summit. The Mimic Octopus is going to be fished up in saltwater locations, so a good spot I'm gonna have to go with is the Anglers Wharf on the boat where Nat Pagle is in, and he's gonna be located here at the Anglers Hub over at Krasarang Wilds. And the third fish is going to be the Flying Tiger Gourami, which we can catch in open freshwater areas in either Krasarang Wilds or the Valley of the Four Winds. But here's a spot I'd recommend. Just north of the Anglers Wharf is Dojani River, and here's a great spot I'd recommend fishing for it. Again, once we do get exalted, we'll have to wait until remix is over in order to buy the Azure Water Strider mount for 1,000 gold, sold by Nat Pagle himself. Unfortunately, the tillers aren't going to be available to farm during the remix content, so that's one reputation we'll have to grind the old-fashioned way, back in retail. But that's about it for this video. If you found it insightful, leave a like and subscribe, and definitely check out True Endgame's mount collector tool in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.